Yeah. Yes, I'm listening. You just go on. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. How it, so you told that first it is probability of A. Are you asking me to define probability of A given B first now? Are you asking? So probability of A given B as per definition of A, this one is conditional probability. As per definition, we say that it is defined as ratio of probability of A intersection B. That means joint probability of A and B divided by probability of B. That means due to partial information, you are having information about happening of B. That's where you are dividing by it. So this is it. So you are rephrasing it and you are getting a multiplication rule, multiplication form that it says that probability of A joint that means joint probability of A and B is equal to probability of A. One more thing I would like to say, I think you should watch previous video, that video recorded lecture. I have already mentioned several things there. It is very much essential to understand that what is meaning of multiplication rule, how it is coming. So we are writing probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of A divided by probability of B given A. And also there is one more representation. It says that another also you can write it like this way: probability of B into is very subjective in nature. That means this multiplication rule is subjective in nature. Completely depends upon subject who is dealing, who is defining this conditional probability or this joint probability. Here it is fine. This is the definition of probability, conditional probability. From here you can directly come to this definition. Okay, just listen this. Yeah, you can come to this definition. But I have written one more definition here. What is meaning of this? What is the? Do you see the difference between these two? Then I will come to your question. First, just see the difference between these two. Do you see any difference between these two? That here we are writing probability of A intersection B is a product of two probability. This one first you can say that it is elementary probability or simply prior probability, and second probability you call it conditional probability. In the similar fashion, in second line also you can observe that this is prior probability into conditional probability. Then what is the difference between these two? Can you point out? Are you getting the difference between these two? Yeah. Right, that is the difference. So, if you are having two events, suppose you have seen A first, then you will go for this definition. And suppose someone has seen B first, then that person will go with this definition. But both will give same criteria. Okay. Now coming to your question that probability of B would be greater than one, or what you mentioned? Yeah, yeah. This one, this one. Okay. No, no, no. These two are not equal. These two are giving a same meaning. This one is also saying that event A and B are independent. This one is also saying event A and B are independent. That is the meaning. It is giving meaning. Yes. Yeah. 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 No, it is not. Remember that it is not a formula for A intersection B. Remember that it is definition for independent events. This is the formula of A intersection B. This is the general formula of A intersection B. Because here we don't know whether there is a dependency between A or B. We don't know. But when you are writing this formula, when you can write this formula, when you know that A and B are independent. Independent. Always you can't write. Did you get the difference? That is the difference. Yeah. So simply I would like to highlight that this one you can call it D1. This one is definition of independent to independent neighbor. This one is second definition of independent neighbor. So both are actually definition of independent neighbor. So if you suppose you substitute this definition, suppose you come to know A and B are independent, then simply you can say that probability of A given B equal to probability of A. So what does it mean? It means that A and B are independent. If you substitute this conditional probability here, what does it becomes? It becomes probability of A into probability of B. That means same second definition it will come. So both definition 1 and 2 you can get that implied by an implied by an implies. So both by implication. So both definition imply to each other. That is the criteria. So it is simply you can take these two as a definition of independent event. If it is not, unless it is not given independent event, you go for this definition. So this definition is directly coming from multiplication. That is the criteria. So I have already discussed this solution of this problem. I will go to take another example. There is a second example here. What it says that I toss a coin repeatedly until observe the first tail, at which point I stop. Once I am tossing a coin and I will keep on tossing until I will get tail. Once I get a tail, I will stop. That is the experiment, random experiment. Okay. Now, what is event? Here, event we are defining in such a way. X we are calling it number of coin tosses. How many? So you have to keep on tossing coin until you will get first tail. That is experiment, random experiment. Now we are defining here event is that it is counting number of coins. So someone may get tail in the first toss, someone may get in second and third, like that. It is a process, it will go on. It is not, it is purely random. No one can say that at first toss I will get head or I will get tail. No one claim that. It is purely random in nature. Now, problem is that we have to find the probability that in the fifth toss, what is the probability that in the fifth toss we will get tail. So that probability we have to calculate. So that probability we denote it by probability of x equal to 5. That means in the fifth, what is the probability that in the fifth toss you will get tail. So that probability we have to calculate. So how we can calculate this one? So it is highly dependent on independent event. What is happening that if you toss two coins, so one toss you perform here, another toss you perform here. So you can easily observe that tossing a coin is itself one random experiment, and tossing second time, that one is also another random experiment. So whatever happening in the first toss is totally independent. Every outcome in the first toss is totally independent of every outcome in second toss. So you can see that someone is does it if someone is saying that I will get head in first toss, does it affect getting head or tail in the second toss? Is it affecting or not? You see, outcome in the first toss is going to affect outcome in the second toss. Do you observe such kind of? No. So why? Because things are independent. Both are coming from two different experiments, random. If you go in atomic level, both performing first toss is totally independent of performing second toss. Totally. Whatever outcome will come in the first toss, it would be totally independent. Whatever outcome will come in the second toss. So independent. Due to independent nature, we can easily calculate this probability. That means in the what is the probability that in the fifth toss we will get tail. So that probability we need to. So that idea. So here x equal to 5, it is equivalent to this sign is for equivalent. So x equal to 5, that means we are tossing first. In first toss we got head. So in second toss we got head. In third also, in fourth also we get head. And but in fifth toss we got tail. That is talking about success. we succeed in fifth toss, x equal to 5. Now, then what is the probability? What is the joint probability? So you can say that. So if juxtaposition kind of things, there is, that means nothing is mentioned there here. It says that it is intersection. It is talking about intersection. So or simply you can say that there is a concept of joint probability. You are going to calculate joint occurrence of these events. Okay, so we know that in tossing a coin repeatedly, the result of any subset of the coin do not have any impact on the other one. Why? Because of independent nature. Trial happen. Each trial outcome in each trial is independent of other trial outcome in other. So that's way. If you are willing to calculate probability of x equal to 5, what would we do? What would we? It would be probability of h into probability of h into probability of h into probability of h into probability of tail. And what is probability of h? It is 1 by 2. In first cause, this one is talking about probability of getting head in first cause. So that is uh, what is probability? It is 1 by 2. This one is talking about probability of getting head in second toss. This one is talking about probability of getting head in third toss. This one is talking about probability of getting head in fourth, and this one is talking about probability of getting tail in fifth toss. So in total, what would be probability? Design probability would be 1 by 32. And here, why we are able to calculate this easily due to independent nature of events. Okay, that is the criteria. That is the beauty of independent event. Now, another example here, it is little bit different kind of example. So, suppose that the probability of being killed in a single flight is 1 by 4 into 10 to the power 6. So, it is very small number. You know that safest journey in the world is what? It is air journey. Air journey is the safest one, better than railway and better than bus or roadway, highways. So that's where very less probability, very small probability of being killed in a single flight. Assume that different flights are independent. So this assumption, somehow some assumption definitely people are taking. Now, if a businessman takes 20 flights per year, what is the probability that he is killed in a plane crash within next 20 years? Let us assume that he will not die because of another reason within the next 20 years. That means we are assuming that he will not die other than flight crashing. Okay, that assumption we are putting in. So two assumptions we have taken. One is different flights are independent. Another is he will not die because of other reason apart from flight crashing. So that criteria it is here. Here. So we have to find what is the probability that he is killed in a plane crash within 20 years. So first question is that in 20 years how many flight that businessman will take. So 20 into 20, that means 400 flight he will take in next 20 years. Because per year he is taking 20 flights. So in 20 years he will take 20 times 20. So total 400 flight. And let us consider that PS, it is talking about probability that he will survive in a single flight. Okay. So this one is the PS is the probability of survival. Then PEC is what? Probability of killing. It is already given here. So probability of survival would be what? Both would be what? If someone is survived, then if one event is S is survival event, then C is what? Possibility of killing event. So then both are what? Mutually exclusive. That's why easily we can calculate it like this: 1 minus PC. So PS equal to 1 minus PC. Now, since these flights are independent, so it is already given here. These flights are independent. So, the probability that he will survive in all 400 flight is what? Simply we can calculate by multiplying in the survival probability up to what? N times. So, it would be your survival probability would be PS to the power N. That means, what is PS? PS is 1 minus PC. PC is already given. Here, to 1 minus PC to the power N. So, our desired probability would be what? Simply this one is probability of survival. So 1 minus this probability of survival would be probability of killing in the next 20 years. Okay, so that's where if you calculate this one, it would come simply 1 into 10 to the power minus 5. So this very small chance of killing may happen. Okay, a small chance of flight crash. Okay, crisis. So that is it is happening due to all these are example of independent event. So one more important criteria I would like to highlight it here, that independent versus disjoint event. So people may confuse with independent event and between independent event and disjoint event. So what is happening if you are taking two events, both happens to be disjoint? Then can we? My question is that if I am asking one question, if someone is saying that we are having two events, and somehow we come to know that both are disjoint. That means there is no common element between these event A and B. That means A intersection B is 5. Can we say that these two are would be independent or what? Dependent or independent? Can we say anything about these two? Any answer? My question. Are you getting my question or not? Okay, I'm asking one question. Okay, Vidhi, would you like to answer? Sarang, okay. Sarang, would you like to answer? If you are taking two events and both are disjoint, then can we say anything about these two events? Whether these two would be dependent or independent? No, that one is wrong concept. It is not like that. Think in different way. During the definition of elementary probability, I had already mentioned that exclusiveness. Someone is saying if you are having two events A and B, and there is no common between A and B, so there is exclusiveness. That means happening of A is it say also talk about happening of B. How? You can ask question how it is talking about happening of B. Happening of A is also talking about happening of B. Why? Because both are disjoint. How it is talking? So it means if A happens, and we don't see any common element of B in A, then simply we can say that from conditional perspective, we can say that B is not happening. Can we say that or not? Yeah. So in one sense, what is happening that happening if A and B are disjoint event, then happening of A also conditionally it says that B is not happening. If we have already seen that happening of A and there is no common element between A and B, then we can't say anything about B. So in that perspective, A once A happens, we can simply say that B is not happening. B is not happening with respect to A. So it means that B is totally dependent on A and vice versa. So if you are taking two events, if both are disjoint, then we can say that both events are definitely not independent. Those are dependent, provided both are having probability of some amount of probability of happening. That means prior probability are non-zero. That means it is not like that B is zero. Probability of B is zero. That B is not in the sample space itself. We definitely B would be in the sample space somewhere out of the A, but definitely B is in the sample space. So that is the criteria. So if A and B are disjoint, then then what is happening that both happens to be dependent to each other. So that is the criteria. Okay. So one is yes. Yeah. Oh, dependency. I told that during the definition of independent events, I told that independent event also we can define in terms of conditional probability. So conditional probability of A given B is equal to probability of A, and simply we say that A doesn't depends upon B. That's why we are going from that perspective. In the similar fashion, if you are having two events and we are defining conditional probability, then definitely conditional probability we see dependency here because happening because once we have already seen A happening of A, and from the happening of A we can conclude that B can't happen. We can say that probability of B given A would be 0. Dependent, that again see it here. What was the definition of conditional probability? So suppose if you are willing to proceed with A, you have already seen A, so definitely A will have certain probability, and we assume that both A and B are having non-zero prior probability. That means probability of A is also non-zero. Okay, and probability of B is also non-zero. Definitely both are having some prior non-zero probability. Probability of B is also non-zero. Now that criteria we have. Now we have already seen A. Once we have already seen A, then we can talk about conditional probability of B given A. B given A. Then what we observe? What would be probability of B given A? We know that A intersection B is 5. Then what would be probability of B given A? What is your answer? Are you getting answer? A is already, yeah, one condition is already given that A and intersection B is empty. Another condition is that A and B are both are having non-zero probability. Now, can you say that what is the probability of B given A? What is answer? That means partial information about A is already given, and then you are trying to find probability of B once you have already seen A. What would be this probability? Conditional probability. Yeah, that is the formula. I am directly asking what is this probability numerical. What is the numerical value of this probability? Can you say something or not? Easily you can say. So you can go to definition. If you are just having any issue, then write the definition of conditional probability. It will talk about probability of A intersection B or B intersection A. Okay, intersection. I should write intersection here. B intersection A divided by probability of B, and probability of B is non-zero. We know that. And what is event A intersection B is what? It is I, null set, empty set. What is the probability of null set or empty set? What is the probability of this set? If you apply probability here, what would be probability of this one? What is probability of null set? 0. Are you getting that or no? Probability of null set is what? 0 now. That's why conditional probability of B given A would be 0. And definitely this one is not equal to probability of B. This one is not equal to probability of. So what does it say? It is just not satisfying definition of independent event. Definition of independent event says that conditional probability is equal to prior probability, but it is not happening. So that's why we can say that event A and B are dependent. They are not independent. Did you get or not? Now I will go for another example, another definition. Just go for another definition. What you do directly, you can calculate probability of A intersection B. What would be probability of A intersection B? We know that A intersection B is a null set, so definitely probability of A intersection B would be 0. And this, and similarly this would be not equal to product of prior probability. That means probability of A into probability. It is not equal to. Why? Because probability of A and probability of B both are non-zero, and that's why product would be also non-zero. So it is not equal to, not equal. So that's why second definition is here. Yeah, both are dependent. So that is the criteria. So that's why don't never confuse with independent event and disjoint event. Okay, that is the difference. You have to be very much careful about these two, independent event and disjoint event. Don't mix up these two things. These two are totally different things. Okay, now I'm taking one more example. That this example is talking about three cards are drawn from an ordinary 52 card deck. Deck, you might be aware of that. If you are taking a complete piece of cards that contains always 52 cards, that we are calling it deck. And what is the experiment? So we are drawing three cards. We are taking out three cards from this deck of 52 cards without replacement. That means we don't put whatever card we have taken out, we are not putting back in the deck. So that is the concept of without replacement. Now, we wish to find the probability that none of the three cards is a heart. So that this is the event. None of the three cards is a heart. So that probability we have to find, and we assume that at each step, each one of the remaining card is equally likely to be picked. So equally likely concept, it is very much associated with every kind of random experiment. So that's why just for solution perspective. So we have to find this probability. So how we can find this probability? So we have to design some events. So that I'm just leaving all these many things I have written. So we are defining few events. So like this way, we are calling it AI. AI, that means it is a that what IS card we are drawing, that one is not a heart. So three card we are drawing, and I1, that is A1. A1, that means first card what we have drawn, and suppose that one is not a heart. A2 would be it would be event that second card we are drawing, that one is not a heart, and A3 would be third card what we are drawing, that would be not a heart. So we have to calculate the probability of A1, A2, and A3, and after that we will solve we will find desired probability. Okay. So none of three card is a heart. So that is the probability. So we have to find that how we can find here. So here what is happening that here all these most of example what I am talking about, all these are happening in sequential pattern. So you can always draw sequential character of those events as well. So that means a desired probability would be A1 intersection probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. So this would be desired probability, and through multiplication rule you can write it like this way. But question is that how we can calculate probability of A1. So A1 is talking about we are drawing a card from a deck of 52 cards in which no heart. A1 contains no heart. So how many heart are there in a deck of 52 cards? How many hearts? Number of hearts? Any answer? And how many? There are diamond shape, heart shape. There are many different, four different, many kind of shape you observe. So how many heart shape you observe there in the deck of 52 cards? 30. So A1 is even, it is associated with that no heart would be there. So 52 minus 13 would be what? 52 minus 13 would be 39. So that's why what would the probability of A1 would be 39 by 52. Now one card you have already taken out. Now then what would be, and also A2 is talking about first card you have already taken out and you are not putting back in the deck. That's where conditional probability is coming here. So A2, that means it is a probability of A2 given A1, it is talking about that you are taking out second card which is not hard. So that probability would be now one card you have already taken out and 13 is already hard. So we can't include those 13 cards. So what would be probability of A2 given A1? It would be 38 by 51 because one card we have already taken out. So there is no replacement. So that's why probability of A2 given A1 A2 given A1 would be 38 by 51. Similarly, probability of A3 given A1 A2, that means probability of drawing third card which is not a heart. So that would be what? It would be 37 by 50. Now, what is probability that none of them is heart is simply intersection of this event, intersection of A1, A2, and A3. And if you are willing to find probability of this, that means one kind of thing, joint occurrence of this event. So if you are willing to calculate this one, just you have to apply multiplication rule. So how you apply multiplication rule? So suppose you are taking A1 is already happened first. So you have already seen A1. So that's why probability of A1 into probability of after once A1 is already occurred. That means drawing of first card is already occurred. Then we are talking about drawing of second card, which is not hard. So that probability, how we measure it, we measure it by probability of A2 given A1. Okay. Now, once we have already drawn two cards, we will draw third card, which is not a hard. So that probability we will denote it by probability of A3 given A1 A2. So it will come like this way. So we have already all these property, probability. Just multiply these two, you will get your desired solution. So graphically, you can visualize like this. This is the graphical visualization of what calculation we have already done. Now, there is one more question. This question is very much interesting. It might be having some practical application here in this IIT Dharwad, or if you are taking some course there, you can find a practical example of this one. I think it is already 45. So I will take just this example. After that, I will wind up this class. And regarding attendance, you have to put your roll number there in the comment box. Okay, so this question is all about, it is very much from combinatory, you can say that. So there is a class which consists of four graduate student and 12 undergraduate student. And from that class, a student is randomly divided into four group of four. That means there are four group and each group contains four element. Four student. So in total, there are four graduate students and 12 undergraduate. In total, 16 students. And 16 students had been divided into four groups, and each group contains four elements. Okay, four students. That is the criteria. Now we have to find what is the probability that each group include one graduate student. That means we have to find the probability that each group contains one graduate element, because we are having four graduate elements. So that probability we have to calculate. So we interpret randomly to mean that given the assignment of some student to certain slot. Okay, forget about all these assumptions. You can read it out. I'm going to solve this problem. So how you can solve this problem? So again, you have to introduce some kind of a special event in order to solve this problem. So let us denote here very much attention we have to give graduate student, because there are four slots and there are both graduate student, and there is a condition that no two graduate student can be in the same group. So every graduate student have to be in different groups. So that is the criteria. So let us denote graduate student by first graduate student by one, second by two, and third one by three, and fourth one by four. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, all these are graduate students, four graduate students. And based on that, we are defining few events. What are the events? A1. A1 event, it says that graduate student 1 and graduate student 2 both are in different group. A2, it is talking about graduate student 1 and graduate student 2 and 3, all three are in different group. A3 is talking about student 1, 2, 3 and 4 are in different groups. So there are three events. Based on that, we have to calculate probability of A1, A2, A3 in conditional way. So that we have to calculate first. So very easy to calculate probability of A1. That is graduate student 1 and 2 are in different groups. So how you can calculate it? Anyone can give answer how we can calculate this one? Can you think about this? Otherwise, I will give a homework. I have already written the process. So similarly, probability of A2 given A1, it would be 8 by 14. Probability of A3 given A1 and A2, it would be 4 by 3. And hence desired probability would be product of these three probability. So in next class, I will ask a question how this probability I have calculated. Just you need to understand. Your solution is already given. I have already mentioned everything how I have calculated all this. So in next class, I will discuss in detail how these things are coming. If you are having any doubt regarding attendance, just put your attendance here. And if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to wind up today's lecture. And mark your attendance here in the comment box. Any question anyone is having? No question. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for attending today's lecture.